Are we live? I believe we are. Where did we end last time? We were building dialog for Firefox. We were building the new closed by attribute for Firefox. And we're going to go the spec to continue. Last time, a Mac run. Well, let's see where we were at. Let's zoom in for starters. Don't want a tiny screen. Don't want a massive screen. I think about right. Let's run the WPTs that we had, which is this closed by, and see where we got to. We want to look at the dialog element. Closed by, and with some additional operations here. We're going to need to go to polls. Need one of these pull requests. This one. We actually live. This is struggling, I think. Oh, if this is live. Start sending us your stream. I have. Not live? Honestly. Just can't tell half the time. Alright. I think we're live. It is so unbelievably difficult to just determine whether or not you're live from YouTube. It just sits there. I can see the videos coming in. It just sits there with a spinner being like, we're waiting for your video. Like, I have been streaming for 2 minutes now and it still says I'm waiting for the video. Anyway, that aside, let's do the toots and the tweets, the skeets, not the tweets, the tweets. Holding light dismiss for dialogues in Firefox. We will finish this time. Yeah. The fun bit of every start of every stream is to sit there and do nothing whilst we get the stream set up. Right one. Wrong. I've posted the wrong friggin' link. Delete. Okay. All right. Our pals on Discord and other services. Get over. Oops. Oh, I've stuffed it up. We are doing well. Okay. All right. So what happened last time? We got quite a lot of dialogue like dismiss working. If we look at the failures, closed by any doesn't work, and closed by invalid. Interesting. Why does closed by invalid not work? Oh yes, we get closed by needed to do some stuff, didn't it? Oh, it does do auto. Huh. We should investigate these tests. Right, let's run another Mac build. And meanwhile I'll post on things. Yeah, last time we when we were looking at how the closed by attribute needs to return auto in some cases, but not in all. It has this default value. So if it's open as modal, in the spec it says if it's open as modal, and it doesn't have a specified closed by, the specified the closed by attribute should return, or the closed by property should return close request. Otherwise, it should return none if it's just open in a if it's either closed or if it's open via show, not show modal. So I think this is good. I think we probably need to analyze the test a little bit. Let's shrink this window so that we can get a bit more space on the code. We'll with the spec interactive elements diff on we want, and we've done this table. We've implemented this table. The failing tests were, I want to look at this invalid or this missing attribute and the invalid attribute, because both of these should be passing it. Curious as to why they're not. So we're going to run the test. Test is going to say for the invalid one, I'm going to be using this. So the behavior is auto. So we run the test and we say the first test is without modal, and it says I guess it opens a dialog at some point. I can't see where. Oh, open dialog here. We open the dialog. Assert is open. Then we try and close it by pushing escape. We check if that works. In the case of a non-modal dialog that is just shown via show, we should expect to respond to escape. We should expect this value to be false. We try clicking outside. This should also be false. Then we are in the any behavior. We're in the auto behavior, sorry. And we're not modal, so we expect both of these to be false. The expected reflection while open is none. And then we just assert on that. So we're looking for if it's missing, it should return none. If it's it shouldn't respond to escape, and it shouldn't respond to a close request, or like a click outside. We haven't implemented the click outside yet, so that's not an issue. Closing with escape is done separately in document. Which we are not finding. Document CPP. Oh, if I search for close watcher. Process close request. Where's that come from? Do cancel dialog. Handle escape key. Very evident function. So let's look at this. So for every element in the top layer, there's a popover, and it's open. We're going to hide it. There's a dialog. We're going to queue cancel dialog, which is part of dialog. This says run cancel dialog steps. Here. This says let the close result be firing. So I wonder if let close be. Where is this in Spec Pros? But it's subject for this. This is probably out of date because this was probably, these comments were added when CloseWatcher, before CloseWatcher was a thing. The queue cancel dialog was called where? That was in body, in document. So we probably want a new method. Something to the tune of, well, this is the tricky thing. So CloseWatcher is currently enabled with a feature flag because it's not fully implemented. There's some stuff around the multi-process atomic boolean. Well, it's not even it's a timestamp, but it's multi-process for the user activation that hasn't been implemented. So without that, we still are behind a feature flag. We still have to be behind a feature flag for CloseWatcher. It's not shipped. So we need to implement two paths. We need to implement the CloseWatcher path, which I feel like is implemented by the CloseWatcher enabled thing. But we also need to handle it with this queue cancel dialog. This is the other branch, right? So somewhere handle escape. Where is handle escape key called? Go to Searchbox. Look for handle escape key. I'm sure this branch is. In fact, it was right there in Pres Shell. I think this is inside an if. get document. If the close watcher is enabled, we call process close request. Otherwise, we call handle escape key. Yeah, that was it. So this is process close request. This is handle escape key, and these are the two branches, right? So this is with close watchers enabled, and this is without. And so we need to somehow here basically just say if dialog get closed by why is this void? Oh, we want this one. So if dialog get closed by not none, closed by not equal to HTML, oops, not in JavaScript anymore, not equal to HTML dialog element, closed by none. That break should be in there as well. So this will say if we're in the none state, we just want to ignore this, right? So if we're in auto, we'll fall through. If we're in any, we'll fall through. And one thing we might want to consider here as well is how this interacts with the feature flags. And none is a new value. So I'm tempted to we can do two things here. We can wrap this. We can say like grab this. We can say if DOM dialog closed by, I think it was. The feature flag is dialog lights dismiss. Lights dismiss. Is it an underscore? No, it's a dash, which I think gets turned into underscores. Excuse me. So this will be the if. So we could wrap this, right? We could say this. Else. We'll just copy paste here. This is gnarly though. This is not fun to look at. I think. I mean, we could simplify further by saying should close. Then we can say if the static pref is enabled, say if it's not enabled, or basically this condition be get rid of this, say should close, then this is a bit neater. So we're saying we should close if light dismiss is not enabled, or if closed by is none. Not none. There's one tricky bit here, which is, I believe, document.append document create element dialog. Oh, document.body append document create element dialog. We say show. This is now open. If I push the escape key, it doesn't change. So this actually isn't sufficient. So let's dial back a little bit. And this should be encoded in the getter itself. clean this up first. We're going to do this, and then we're going to say, in here, we'll say if static prefs, put this here. If static prefs is not enabled, this is the wrong. Right, we need to be here. If static prefs is not enabled, maybe this is not necessary because well, this is necessary to a degree. We should always return. Again, wrong one. Return auto here, or we should do an assert. But this didn't. This one didn't actually used to. This just called Q cancel dialog. So Q cancel dialog ran cancel dialog steps. I can't see where this is supposed to have. Oh. Of course. This is every element in the top layer. So this is only modal dialogues. So if we return auto, that should be fine. We also need to we're going to need to have like a handled. Well, no, we just return here instead of break. We're going to need to say const, and this is where the document there's a list of I think we already implemented it in document H. There's a list of open dialogues or something. Dialogues. Open dialog list. This is what we need to iterate over to check. Yeah, so we need to say yes. Don't know what the open dialog list is though. NST array of dialog elements. Well, yeah. Open dialog list. This should be member. Oh, it's a function itself. Is it implemented? I haven't even implemented it. Wait, did we do this? Essentially. I wonder what this black square was, but it's of course the dialogue we just added to this. Open dialogue. We implemented open dialog list. Top layer. M top layer. We want this, but for dialogues. So stack of open dialogues, and this is part of the spec, right? open dialogues list. Each document has a list of open dialogues. Empty. Open dialogues is going to be an NST array of NS pointers. NS weak pointer a template. Or is it just like you need to cast it still, which is fine. Yeah, it's fine. So open dialogues list. Open dialogue list. You know, we can be a bit potentially smart about this. We want this even at all though? Probably not. Where is it referenced, I guess is the question. The open dialogues list. Referenced here by saying add this to the nodes document. Open dialogues list. Referenced here, which says if the node open dialog list is empty. This is light dismiss open dialogues given a pointer event. And so this will probably happen on the document. So we don't need any additional. The only additional method we need is something like that is in top layer. I think there's an add to top layer. Top layer. Add popover to top layer. If we have add dialog to open list. We will implement that of here. This is just going to be an HTML dialog element. We're just going to say open dialogues. Push back, is it? Hold on. And pop over to top layer. Top layer push. It's just append element. Get weak reference of the element. A element. That seems fine. So now we've got this function to add. We can iterate through these. This is going to be dialogues. Open dialogues. Dialogues? Open dialogues. Why it keeps with the DOM thing. So let's look at light dismiss. Open dialogues list. Oh, because this is all handled with close alter stuff. Oh, we're out of spec territory now, so we probably want to do the same thing as this reversed. There's going to be a constant is weak pointer. Dialog, a weak pointer. I'm basically just going to crib this. Element get closed by not equals HTML dialog element closed by none dialog q cancel dialog and Why is the syntax highlighting off here? Troubling. Do a build. I think we need to do something better here, though. We need to figure out if the dialogue is in get closed by. No, this should be logic that lives here. It needs to say something along the lines of if the get closed by is none, we're in auto dialogue. We already have handled yeah, so we would have already, if we had an open modal, we would have already handled it here. Which means if we had oh, this is like not good. What do we want to do here? We want to say the modal dialogues are going to be in this open dialogues. If element or should this be if ref pointer? I think this needs to be a ref pointer. Dialogue element is dialogue element or null. So if the dialogue, we care about whether or not the dialogue is modal because this should return auto every time. And this return null, none. Null dialogue element none for close by. I think this is the right choice. It's weird because this is not easy because not in spec land anymore. We're doing stuff out of spec. But I think this makes sense. If we iterate through all the open dialogues, we're gonna land like, let's say we had a modal and then we had a non-modal on top, modal below be closed. So we're going to iterate. We're going to see the first dialogue. It's going to be, this should be dialogue element. We're going to see the first dialog. It's going to be the non-modal one. It's going to be equal to none because it's non-modal. I'm going to skip this. Excuse me. Second dialog is modal. Return auto even with the flag off. So there should be no functional changes here with both flags off. The flag on, however, gives us the opportunity to customize this. Get closed by is going to return potentially a value other than none or auto. Yeah, I think this makes sense. Oops, that's why there's a syntax error. Yeah, yeah, this makes sense, I believe. This doesn't. Fix that. So now we need to add dialog to open list for every dialog that is open. So set open. Well, yeah, top layer if need. Where's this? Nowhere. Modal dialog. We've got an add modal dialog. Close watcher. Where is show? So if it's open or if it's in the top layer. Toggle events. Set open. All the previously stored. So we're going to set open. We also want to say owner doc add open dialog. Just say add open dialog. Terrible name. Dialog. Add modal. Add modal dialog. Open dialog. Probably have a remove. This. Just type. Add open dialog and then in modal. We want to say so here we want to say this or add open dialog. Ugh, what are you doing? Add open dialog, a dialog element. Move modal, say move open dialog. Element What's the... What's the opposite of a pend element? End element? NST array, I guess? Come on. Clear. Remove element. I guess looked at top layer pop. Yeah. Remove element. Fine. We're adding the open dialog. Doing the same on modal. When we close, we want to remove. Close. Set open. False. Monodoc. Remove open dialog. Surprised that's not in a list. We found a spec bug. Open dialogs list. We call open on the dialog element. Or show. Add this is after the add an open attribute to this. So we should actually double check that as well. So add open dialog. Yeah, it's right after this. Show modal has the same thing, I presume. Is the let's look at show modal. Q add to top layer. The add to top layer calls add modal dialog. Yeah, cool. So that's fine. So close. Close the dialog this. Close the dialog. Yeah, remove. Okay, cool. So set is modal to false. So let's look at close. Yeah. So set open false. Remove from top layer if needed. And then remove open dialog. Result, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's the dialogues list. Which was also referenced somewhere else. Log element. These places. 2, 3. So this is part of show modal. This does not contain this. Fine, we don't need to assert that. This was the one that we just added. This was the other one for... Oh, this is the removal steps. We do this as well. Have remove. Unbind from tree. Remove from... so this should say... Owner doc. Remove. Open dialog. This. That's that one. This one. This is the close one. Right, so now the only one remaining Yeah, the only one remaining is this pointer event. Okay, so we are inching closer. I think we're in a good state. I think the next step is to implement the actual clicking this pointer event stuff. So this is the thing we're going to look at potentially tomorrow if I have time, to just implement the actual light dismiss bit. We've got everything else done, I think. The whole thing of this was the invalid stuff. Hopefully that's fixed now with this. So when this compiles, we'll run the tests, see if we've got any unexpected passes. And I think this is the last step of all of this. Yeah, I think we'll see. Sure, we probably do need to do some changes here. I don't remember looking through this bit. We'll find out. Undeclared identifier M top layer. Where is this document? Why this is M open dialog? Open dialogs? Yeah. That's M open dialogs. B. That won't help. Yeah, so I'll leave it here. And I think we will on the next one we'll look at this click-through behavior, and I think that's the last step. So watching, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.